Are y'all ready to head off the trail? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on the spacedoutradio YouTube channel. If you guys haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. We would love to have you. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that kick-ass music. I really appreciate that, as usual. Okay, you guys, please follow us on social media. Twitter at spacedoutradio, and Instagram at spacedoutradio show, and TikTok at spacedoutradio. You guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. Also, I have a wonderful YouTube channel that just hit 5,000 subscribers this morning. I woke up to messages congratulating me on hitting 5,000. I was so excited. Thank you guys so much for everybody who has subscribed to my channel, everybody who has supported me along the way. I know my buddy Marco. I don't know if he's in the chat tonight. Marco, I remember when he was in there. He was helping me get up to 100 subscribers alongside. It wasn't but like a year and a half ago, I remember. And so we went from celebrating 500 subscribers last year to 5,000 today. So I want to thank everybody for that huge milestone. It means the world to me. And I appreciate and love all you guys. Okay, so if you guys would like to support what I do, I have a Patreon. You're welcome to go hop on that Patreon and become a member. And thank you to all my members over there. And also, I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. And I want to thank everybody for all the support there. Also, Spaced Out Radio has the Space Travelers Club. I looked it up. I finally looked it up. And for a small fee every month, a little membership fee, you get all sorts of really great perks. And yeah, and I don't know, Dave was talking about us doing like a question and answer kind of thing live with some of us who are hosts here at Spaced Out Radio over there. So you guys go sign up for that too. Also, I just remembered I have on my Mecro shirt today. Y'all know I'm a field researcher. And last weekend, I was out in the field with my buddy Matthew Delph. He's the badass monster hunter with Mecro. That's the Mountain Empire Cryptid Research Organization. And he gave me this awesome shirt. And it's got his silhouette on the back. And he is a badass monster hunter. And yeah, so hey, if you guys want to get your own shirt, y'all go follow them over on Facebook. That's Mecro, M-E-C-R-O, Mountain Empire Cryptid Research Organization. And shout out to Matt and Jamie. You guys rock. Okay, well, I have a fantastic show for us tonight. And I have my buddy Travis Willier Moostoos here in the studio tonight. Don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a fantastic program set up for us. Okay, so you guys go over there and check them out as soon as we're off the air over here. Okay, well, let's get to our guest, you guys. Travis Willier Moostoos is an actor, artist, writer, starred in APTN, Secret History of the Wild West, and various other shows across many different platforms. Travis is a knowledge story holder of his Cree people in his area of northern Alberta, Canada, and is an active UFO paranormal investigator. He often shares his experience with UFOs, Bigfoots, and ancient connections of Native America to the star nations and the universe beyond. And we're going to be talking about reptilians, maybe a little bit of dragons in there tonight. We're going to talk about wherever we're led to. Okay, so please help me welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. I've got Travis here. And welcome to Spaced Out Radio. What's up, Travis?
Hi.
Hey,
everybody. Thanks for having me back.
My gosh.
It's great. It's wonderful.
Of course. Listen, you're like a fan favorite over here, okay, at Spaced Out Radio. And I know you've been on Dave's show, and I've actually hosted you on Dave's show before. And you've been here. I mean, I just love talking with you. You have so much knowledge and knowledge that you are willing to share with us. And tonight it's in regards to reptilians. And, you know, the other day over on my channel, The Cryptid Huntress, I was talking about the lizard city, the lizard people, that there was like a settlement or a city underneath Los Angeles, California, that was found and unearthed in like 1934. And I believe you saw that. You hit me up. We had a little conversation about it. And we're going to expand on that tonight.
Exactly. Right? Yes, I just wanted to say hello to everyone watching. Thank you for watching, and all to everyone who's watching and watch us in the future. Also, hello. And yes, I'm glad to be here and share some of that with you. Where do we want to begin here with some of the ancient stuff that's been considered and whatnot. So, and
Yes,
taught. All
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, let's go
All
back.
right.
Let's go back in time. Okay, we're going to start back in time, and then we'll work our way to the future, to the present day, and to the future. So, what exactly do you know about the history of the reptile people or the serpent people?
Yes. Well, there's extraterrestrial reptilians, and then there's also people who are half human, half hybrid reptilian beings and descendants of them. And then there's also a lot of, I should say, also people who just like hold themselves as reptilian people because of their spiritual connections, I should say, and beliefs. So I guess that's pretty much what I would say. There's a lot of reptilians out there, different kinds, and also the extraterrestrial reptilians as well. A lot of different kind of them out there, dimensionally, and out there physically too. Yeah, the connections go right back to ancient times, and it was like a lot of them did come down, and there was like ancient cities, ancient dragon cities, and they were known as different names too, and a lot of these cities existed across the world, and that's where you get a lot of these reptilian temples, and like you'll see a lot of these like old school, like I should say, just like all the old temples from the Mayans down to Machu Picchu and South America. There's a lot of reptilian connection there with a lot of the but it goes back to the creation, and a lot of the creation stories there. A lot of like the animals and spirits and beings that we have today had given themselves to create our reality, part of their spirits in the dimensional spiritual realm. So it was said that the fire dragon was one of those beings that gave up itself to create the earth, and that's where we get a lot of our crystals and our stones from, and that's one of the eldest I should say elders out there in terms of guardians, and it's right up there with the Q and Thunderbird, right? So a lot of these they yeah, so yeah, it's almost considered one too as well. But I'm just saying also too, when a lot of the flood and all that happened, like, and a lot of like the cataclysms that happen on Earth throughout the years and time, these beings that what like once were strong animal kingdoms, they all started fading away as time went on, right? From the cataclysms of Earth, and humans started becoming a thing, right? And so what I'm saying is, like, there's still some of that around. We still have crocodiles, we still have Komodo dragons, we still have turtles, we still have sharks. These things are age-old beings, that are still here, that haven't really changed much since the time. What am I getting at here is these connections, they date back, and so when man and in the ancient extraterrestrials, man had a fight in the primordial days of what we refer to as Iridanis, and it was a time of just like reptilian warfare, and there was like a lot of reptilians taking over different parts of the constellations and different star constellations and galaxies. They took over a lot of the gray races out there, and they actually came over to destroy a lot of the Lyrian planets. They destroyed like 2 out of the 3 Lyrian planets, and destroyed a lot of the dog race and the cat beings, and a lot of the humans had to go to fight with them, and a lot of the Pleiadians too, and Pleiadian humans. And there was a huge battle that happened just in our solar system because they wanted control over our solar system. And it kind of dealt in that sense. They were here too. Like the reptilians came here first, and they were on Earth first, and they started off temples and different places of worship, and then at the end of the day, when we showed up here as like kind of like a last resort, a lot of races mixed together down here and created a lot of these earlier civilizations, like we like to say Lemuria and Atlantis, and those like after a while, those civilizations, like they ended up rising up against a lot of the reptilian control, because like a lot of the planets, I should say, like a lot of the Death Stars, or stars of death, were destroyed in our solar system. So reptilians had to kind of vacate underneath the Earth, and it was more like a displacement of the reptilians. They just went and put themselves down in the Earth because they had a superior technology in boring out asteroids and different planetoids, because where they're from, it was so much radiation on their surface. They had to start living underneath the ground and finding water sources that way. And but what I'm getting at is, so a lot of the time that they spent here on Earth prior to our existence here on Earth was recreating and biologically testing a lot of these dinosaurs. So they created monsters on land and monsters on the sea and different kind of abominations that were natural to the world. And that's where a lot of like the Atlanteans, after they, kind of like won the war, the humans took over the war. Like there was like a lot of different human races that came together to fight back the reptilians on this Earth. And after they did that, there was a huge, I guess it was like a extermination of most of the dinosaurs, because like a lot of them were just abominations. But it was like a different time. The people, it was like a couple 13,000 years of peace, and then it was like it said in the stories that it came to an end. The as they refer to it in some of the native cultures around the area, they say it's called Land of Pan. It's the land before, the red land before, and they came from there. A lot of the Shinnebi people, they call themselves where the where the sun goes in the distance. Like it's like the people where they came from, right? And it's said that a lot of these, after Atlantis fell and reptilians used a lot of, I should say, underground technology to sink Lemuria and Atlantis. A lot of these, I should say, dragon cultures moved across the land. There was a lot of these like still old beliefs in the dragons and all the animal guardians in that time, right? It wasn't like there was no respect towards it or anything. Like it was just some of these other where the reptilians, where they came from is still, it's like they don't belong here either. Like the ones that were causing all the trouble, they showed up in our dimension like they were kicked out of another one, right? But what I'm getting at is so after they fell, a lot of the cultures moved across the lands all over. Some went to Europe, some went to south, like Egypt and Africa, and all across South America, Asia, and when a lot of the serpents came to America, they actually helped create a lot of the temples, Machu Picchu, and there's like a few other temples I'm just forgetting the names of right now for some reason. But yeah, they created a lot of those temples, and then they ended up coming up more north, like traveling up through New Mexico into the Central America and North America. And a lot of these cultures were met by other bands of not so friendly natives, like Apaches and other bands that were just going to stand up against them. And a lot of those Atlantean people and the Serpent people were actually like massacred, and a lot of those people, like women, were taken and they were made like they were made their wives or whatever, right? Like they became like trophy wives or whatever, right? Like they became anyway. So they ended up making like descendants of these serpent people, and after a while they ended up it was another branch of like Atlantean people that actually came up through, and they were fire turtle people, and they ended up being brought up here too. And there was already natives like already stationed like all around North America, and it was like almost like the Iroquois were helping meet them and bring them up more north. So like if you ever see Serpent Mound, that's what it means, is like there's a serpent that's following, and it's the turtle's being led, like they're showing the turtle the way, like the turtle, like there's a turtle at the front of the Serpent Mound. And that's what it means, is like so this culture came up north, right? And a lot of these people mixed, and a lot of these like and the Iroquois, that's what their name means. It means rattlesnakes or snake people. And they were they considered and they use a lot of the powers like of the snake medicines, and they were known in battle and combat to be able to sneak up on somebody without them hearing them. Like they were very silent, like a snake kind of deal. And they were both like very gifted in both the sight of in between the world in between life and death, like what I mean. So like they were very spiritual and in that sense, and in that wisdom, right? Because snakes always meant wisdom as well. So it was a very tied in like cultural belief there with them, and for us too, we held a lot of like respects to them. The snake people are like the Kenepek Napuyu is the name for them. And these guys, a lot of them, they lived in the mountains, this kind of near like Canmore area. and they lived up there, and they pretty much, they were so like, they were able to take form of snakes when they were in their ceremonies and at higher elevations of vibration. They were able to actually take the form of snakes, and they were called like keepers of the mountain to most natives down south, like Stony Cree people. They know them as them, and yeah, it's like they also had very much connection with the inner earth giants, because there was a wisdom that they were guarding in the mountains. Like, so it was like that's the legend of that. And like they ended up like I said, there's a lot of teachings towards like life and death and rebirth and spirituality and growth like that, right? So it's a lot of ties to ceremony in that sense.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Travis. Okay, hold on. My mind is like racing 100 miles an hour right now. And yeah, that's so much information. It's so amazing, like wonderful. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. Okay, with the dinosaurs, for instance. Okay, because like
still around.
we wonder like where did all the dinosaurs go? Okay, so what you were saying was like by the way, Dogface, thank you for that amazing super chat. We appreciate that. And you too, Amy. I saw yours as well. Thank you so much for your super chats, y'all. Okay, so the dinosaurs, it's like, well, so the reptilian races actually created the dinosaurs. Is that what you were saying?
They found most of them here. They just created a lot of the abomination, like ones that were very vicious and violent in the purposes of that, right? Like they were experimenting with them. But no, they didn't create them. There was already life here due to the spirit of the dragon giving its life to Earth. So it was a natural process for this Earth to have those beings here.
Okay. Well, I just was watching somebody sent me a video today, actually, of a gentleman who is a professor I believe he's a professor at a college. He's a scientist, a biologist, and they say that he took chicken eggs and was able to recreate and grow T-Rexes, Tyrannosaurus Rex. We have at least one. I'm sure there's plenty of them somewhere. You know, they say somewhere, even in China or Japan or somewhere in Asia, there's like an island where there's a whole bunch of dinosaurs, and so, but they're putting it out there. It's almost like soft disclosure. Yeah, so what ended up on TikTok, it's still soft disclosure, right? I mean, what better way to get it out to the masses that this is going on? Yeah,
I could totally see I could see them cloning something or trying to make something or recreate something on that level. It's something else, right? Like there's all sorts of like dinosaurs and dragons. I consider them dragons because the word dinosaur was only created in like 63 or 23 or something like that. But like it's like, you know, at the end of the day, what were they known as before that? Dragons, right? So I just refer to a lot of the dinosaur reptilians or reptile-like creatures as the dragon style people. Like that's what our people call them. Like for a lizard folk, it was it was Gowakana Samana, which is a dragon man or a reptilian man or a lizard man. You know, it can mean one of like all that in that sense. And so it's like, you know, so to me, it's like, from my cultural speaking point of view, it's like they're, you know, dragon-like or dragon relatives of that, right? Like that family.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing that keeps coming up. I was just telling one of my buddies today, dragons come up every day now in my life. Like, I don't know. It's obviously spirit, like source is like pushing me in the direction of talking about dragons because they keep coming up in my life. I mean, I even pulled out an old jacket that belonged to my dad tonight, and it has a dragon on the sleeve. Okay, and I was like, okay, I got to talk about dragons because and I need to put that in the pool of like remote viewing targets because there's something about that, and there's a reason to get the word out on dragons. And also, I was given a blind remote viewing target by my friend Norma Jean, who has a show on Rumble called Resonance, and I did this remote viewing target, and I didn't know what it was. They actually put me on the spot. I revealed my data on the spot on their show this week, and they told me what it was after I revealed my data. I was so like on the spot, but it was awesome. I was on target, and it's an island called Ascension Island, and it looks like a dinosaur, or like not a dinosaur, a dragon. You know, like there's those petrified giants. You're familiar with those, I know, surely. And there's like petrified giant dragons all over the world. What's up with that? Do you think those are really dragons?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely giant snakes, giant reptiles for sure. And like Yeah, even like the giant people too is just spectacular to see. Like we have one called Sleeping Chief Mountain in Jasper. If you guys just Google that on your own time, you know what I mean. That looks great. Yeah, but as for the blue, like we had a lot of bluish gray dragons out here in Alberta. Yeah, they were Sipico Golokon. They were real huge. They were like they'd be like a size of a small plane or a little bit bigger, like a small jet airliner. You know what I mean? And they were flying out here. They were totally they were like, this is the time of like, that would be like the time of the animal kingdoms, and they were flying around. And yeah, they're, like I said, they were around for quite some time, along with the the giant horned serpent, which is a pretty revered one in my area. The horned serpent. Yeah, yeah,
A horned
yeah. So
serpent? What is
yeah,
that? Wow.
Kotaskanic
Okay.
Misi Kowakan is the horned serpent, and it's a four-legged large reptile beast, and it was also known as a pink feathered they called it pink feathered panther in some areas, but it was because it had large pink fins on its back and down to its tail. And it would walk around. It was this huge giant lizard, and it would just go across the land and just literally tear apart buffaloes and like yeah. And so like there's like a couple stories about like how a great buffalo was fighting it, and then it couldn't fight it, so then the thunderbird had to come down and fight the great horned serpent. And there's like a legend about that, right? And but other than that, though, the great horned serpent is kind of like a guardian in our area. It's like a natural creature, natural being, protector of the land. And like we always if we can, we give offerings every year to it, if it, you know, even if it recalls our calls to it. Or even like I said, we still pray all the time to you know, I was just gonna say, we always pray all the time to the Thunderbird, and we always you know, have our offerings for those beings, and we still have our connections to those I should say, those parts of our reality. And
well, to some people, they're mythological beings, but to people in the know, they existed, or they exist to this day.
they exist.
And I have been looking into griffins, okay, all sorts of interesting things. I mean, including dragons, and why else would dragons be so documented in our historical books and paintings and art? Let's see if I can get this to come up.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, from the medieval times and even before, there's been depictions of dragons, and they're still depicted in movies, and like Game of Thrones, for instance, right? It's baffling, to say the least, as to all this hidden history that we have, and things that we're told that we're, you know, people that talk about that are crazy. You know, it's only in fairy tales, right?
Right.
I know
yeah,
different.
it's like yeah, they're very much tied to a lot of our teachings of the Thunderbird and the dragons, of, you know, that our teachings are mainly tied to water. A lot of water, rain, and lightning is the connection to that, you know. And these beings are the dragons is very much a symbol of that, you know, of our earth. You know, the dragon itself is an earth symbol. You know, it's associated with rain, so water and lightning, fire, and it's also representation of the air. And these four elements that make up our reality, right? And so it's very much a connection there to that. And like I said, it's four direction connection in our belief. Yeah, there's a lot to that. Like I was saying with the with the dragons, and I'm so happy you're picking up on that energy too. So
Yeah.
yeah, these beings, they lived harmoniously with the people and the land. So like I said, these were considered guardians, and you know, I should say guides, and they were also there to help with spiritual healings and different visions, and you know, they provided all that. Like, so when there was a drought and stuff like that, people were very much connected to thunderbirds. They were able to summon rain and different things to help out the lands. And if there was like fires, they put them out with thunderbird and different things, like in the olden times. And these connections like are very much real, like in our beliefs, and in our I should say our practices, spiritual practices, to this day. So
Well, and it's not just the indigenous people of the Americas, like in Canada and North America and U.S., Central America, South America. It's all over the world where there are stories of dragons and the dragons and even the serpent people too. But the dragons in particular, like in Nordic myth, the dragons were actually evil, okay, to the people there. And I believe it's in India, they had the Nagas, okay, and those are like serpent women, right? Like Medusa kind of. And but they, a lot of these are, they were revered in a lot of cultures, and they lived in like jeweled lined, like diamond and emeralds and ruby lined caves and stuff like that.
still do.
But they guarded the underworld. In most cultures, they guard the underworld, or they are just associated with the underworld. Much like here in, well, you're in Canada, okay? I say here in the U.S., but you're up in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm down here in the United States, and we have a lot of tales of subterranean reptilians here. Just like the case that I was remote viewing. It was the lizard city under Los Angeles. Okay. And I know that's kind of a big topic all over social media right now. It's on TikTok. I know that. But when I hear of lizard city, I'm thinking of like reptilians, right? But a lot of people's accounts of those lizard people, they were actually humans who lived underground, just like lizards would, to get away from cataclysms. Okay. And like you had mentioned before, like the cataclysms where the earth was scorched. And I have a quote. I don't know if I have it right here. I have my notes from
And
my
for
show.
battles too, they had to go underground. Yeah.
Okay, from battles. Okay, well, let's see if I have it right here. Okay, well, I can't find it, but they were talking about a tongue that kissed, like a tongue that scorched the earth. Like something came down from the sky, like the tip of a tongue of something. It sounded like a dragon to me, scorched the earth, and
That's the
for
tail of
hundreds of
Thunderbird.
miles. Was that a thunderbird? It sounded like a dragon.
Well,
Okay.
the Thunderbird is known for its lightning and fire, so it was able to shoot lightning and fire like that, and it chased a lot of the reptilians underneath the inner Earth. That's the original tale with that, with the Thunderbird's connection to the reptilians and how he won the battle for the surface up here in the northern area, and sent all the reptilians back underneath in the inner Earth. Yeah. But as what you're saying though, like it does sound like you said, it does sound like a dragon. We do consider it like a dragon. Some parts of the tribes and cultures, they consider Thunderbird to be a dragon. You know, they consider the Thunderbird to be a scaled, it had a scaled neck and different and feathers, and like it had like, it was part like it had like a dragon element to it. Like it was like a prehistoric, like, you know, from that time, like a prehistoric bird, dragon bird.
Oh, wow. Well, that's interesting. Because the connection to like chickens and velociraptors or Tyrannosaurus, I can't talk tonight. T-Rex.
That's okay. That's fine.
Their nickname, the T-Rex. Okay. Like, but a chicken, the connection to like chicken eggs and the T-Rexes, and some say that potentially like a lot of the dinosaurs had feathers. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's kind of cool. It's kind of connecting the dots a little bit. Right?
Yes.
Or yes. Am I crazy? I know I'm a little crazy.
No. I'm happy you're seeing these connections, and yeah. As for like the reptilians underground and civilizations, like the cities under Earth, like some of the warriors that they've ventured into to never return, and or they'll never let anybody ever see them, from what we're told from like a lizard folk people from like years ago. They are like saying no man's ever go down there or see the city or ever return, alive or kind of deal. And it's kind of like we've heard stories about them like coming up from the inner Earth, but they had like a technology. They were just able to come up with, like, fly up with their UFOs through the ground, and they came up and land, and they would just come out and take women, and the men would have to fight. They go to war with a lot of these reptilians, and it was like they were just taking women and like destroying like tribes and flying back down to inner Earth with these women to create human hybrids. Like, and that's where they say. That's where how like Atlantis was like invaded, like got infiltrated, because they were able to create these human hybrids and send them up to work and be among the people and like take positions of power and that's what they did. They got into the spiritual sectors of the Atlantis pyramids, and they're able to, change the spirituality so that people were able to lower themselves, so their astral, monstrosities would be able to come through the lower dimensional frequencies and invade people and inhabit them. And that's where you get a lot of the darker spirits like coming into this earthly dimension and taking hold of folks and, creating monsters out of people. And it really breaks down the culture and society of people, right? And when they start fighting amongst each other and stuff, that's when they're able to use it's like an earthquake weapon kind of deal, and just leveled the whole Atlantis. It was Lemuria first. The first dragon city was Lemuria to go, and then Atlantis. A lot of the extraterrestrials seen what happened to Lemuria, and they were able to fly off. So they had like just ships leaving Atlantis, just going off with like tons of different extraterrestrials from all across the galaxy. And some of the extraterrestrials actually took the people. Some like chose to save people and bring them over, like Amara Mumu, and he was the guy who took people on a sun disk ship and brought them over to the South Andes, and that's where Atlantis, like people went from Atlantis to South America on a spaceship. And
wow.
It's a wild one, right? But he was able to create. That's where a lot of them were able to create the Machu Picchu and a lot of the ancient cities back then of that time, and a lot of the other people that left from Atlantis went to Egypt and so on and so forth, right? It just trickled on all on outwards. And
wow. Okay,
yeah.
Here, let's address this really quick, because Jean has a cool point, and I was wanting to talk about this tonight anyway. So Jean says, I don't believe for 1 second there are dinosaurs on the planet at this time. Okay, and now I actually have gotten reports of modern day, not only pterosaurs, okay, like pterodactyls, all over the country in Canada, Central and South America, but also velociraptors in the Appalachian Mountains. Travis, what do you think about that? And are you familiar with those reports?
Like I said, there was a lot of those kind of like dinosaurs that were able to, withstand this kind of northern hemisphere, I should say. And there's a lot of those, like, I should say, those kind of flying dinosaurs being found to this day. If you just look up the frozen dragon in Canada, you'll find out that there was a flying dinosaur that was just as the size of a jet airliner. And there's still dinosaurs to this day. There's still crocodiles, there's still alligators, there's still Komodo dragons, there's still turtles, there's still sharks, there's still tons of animals that still they haven't changed very much since that time, including some of the bugs and whatnot, right? Like there's grubs and everything. And yeah.
I mean, there's little dinosaurs. Cockroaches have been around since the beginning of time, right? Just kidding. You can't kill. They survive nuclear fallout and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. It's there's nothing shocks me nor surprises me to this day. And and the fact that there's stories in the mainstream media, the mainstream news coming out about dinosaurs being recreated, reanimated, brought, like T-Rex, by the way, like Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay, that's a big one. Why wouldn't they just start out with like a little velociraptor or something, like a little miniature one? Not that velociraptors are little, but a T-Rex, come on, man. What are you going to do with it? It's like, okay, and this is horrible, right? I had a pet snake. I had a pet boa constrictor. The thing just got way too big. And it's like,
wow.
What do you do with the snake once it gets that big? A lot of people just let him go. Okay. We actually had to like give him to a pet store eventually because he got so big. And we had babies, infants in the house, and so we were afraid that it was going to eat the babies. You know what I mean? So
right, very much a concern, right?
I mean, you don't think they're going to be breeding T-Rexes and selling them at pet shops, do you? I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, right. Like
Gosh,
like the tigers, right? Like the tigers.
I know, it's like black market. We got black market T-Rexes now, on the run.
Right, but, right.
Gosh. Where are we going with this? Let's get back to reptilians.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so, it's wild. That's all.
And yeah, there's still a lot of those people, like to this day, they don't realize like they're half reptilian, and they are. And then there's like some that do know, and they just keep it really well hidden. There's one case where I should say, with this elder of mine, he was telling me that in his time growing up in the mission, after he was like because when he was at the mission school as a young man, like kid, like, before he was just a young kid in the mission, right, in missionary school, and taken away from his parents. But when he was taken away during the winter, his parents died, and he couldn't go back home. So the mission school ended up taking care of him. They're raising him until he was 16. Well, until the school was shut down, and the school was shut down for other like terrible reasons, whatnot. And there was like a fire and it burned down or something. And there's like a real wild story to that too. But aside from that, he ended up moving on to the city, and he ended up living on the streets. And he was sitting out there and on the streets, and a lady walked by, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing on the streets here?" And he's like, "I have no place to live," and told her her story. And she's like, "Well, why don't you come stay with me?" And he's like, "All right, sure." So he didn't think anything of it. He started working and paying for things around there and living there for a couple months. And then all of a sudden, she got like, into him, or she started taking a liking to him. And they ended up, going together. And when they were going together, he said he was looking into her eyes, and her eyes changed. Her eyes did the shift thing. And that's when he knew this woman there was something like, she was different person, like a different kind of person. But at the time he didn't know what it was. He just thought alligator people, because her eyes look like an alligator. And
ouch.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, we've all seen the people on, the videos of people who are either shapeshifters or shapeshifting, or their eyes like okay, of all people, Travis, it's like news reporters. Okay. And I know, like, it's all kind of melding together now, because like I've been doing shows on AI clone, like AI robots, human clones, and reptilians. And it's like we see these people that are in the media, on the world stage, who are reporting the news, and their eyeballs change, or they're on stage, it looks like a demon is like taking over their body or something while they're performing and singing, like famous rappers and artists. And it's just, what in the world is going on right now? And before you answer that, thank you, Dogface, for that other super chat. That is so sweet of you. And Amy, I saw yours too. Thank you so much. You guys are rocking it. And we got another super sticker. I'll thank you as soon as I see your name down here. But thank you guys so much. Okay, politicians too, Travis. Politicians. What's going on here? Because just you go ahead. We'll have a discussion on it. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. No, it's a wild one. Like, there's a lot of these, it's taken form in a lot of, you see a lot of the celebrities and whatnot, and, they have their moments there where it's kind of questionable, and, and it's like, is it all like, on purpose? I don't know. Right. And, but, it is odd when you see it. Right. But it is, to us, we always said it was like, Washishu, they spoke with forked tongues, like, and there's a meaning to that, right? And there's a lot of shapeshifters throughout all of our teachings and all of our history, from everything from, people being actual, turning into, monsters, or even to animals themselves, right? From snakes to all sorts of, wolves and coyotes, and, so it's like, for us, that kind of like reality it's not a make belief, like there's it's very much a reality to it, it's
Oh yeah, there's some sort of reality. I don't know. I live in a really strange reality right now, and I don't know about you guys, but I do. And I forgot to add. Okay, so Dogface, who is in the chat, says, Travis, if one wants to, and I don't think I'm not sure this has to do with reptilians, but it says, if one wants to give them self to spirit, not near the U.S., what is the best way to do so? I'm not exactly sure what that means, but do you understand it?
Yes.
Dogface, okay, you do.
Yes.
Okay.
To give themselves to spirit, like to honor that life, and be just to have gratitude, and acknowledge in your life that you wish to to walk the world with the respect, and the honor, the wisdom, the love, the empathy, and the truth of that all, and you want to embody that wholeheartedly, and just to really, I should say, to ask for the blessing to walk this earth in the right manner, in the right respects that Creator made you to walk it, and to be connected with that, and that circle of life. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we all need to be connected to spirit right now, and to have to be connected to something bigger than us, because we are living in such strange times right now, and something that I think of when I think of the reptilians, okay, and I hear this a lot, and it's that loosh that they thrive off of, and for people in the audience who aren't familiar with loosh, I believe that's like it's like the energy that we put off when we're living in fear and we're scared, and it seems like we are inundated, like, just, you turn on the television, Travis, and it's all fear-based stuff, like, and even the shows are all about murder mysteries and kill unaliving people and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, we're on YouTube, so I gotta say the right lingo, I
Right.
assume. But I don't like, but it's like First 48, and like even like the ghost shows that I used to watch are like all demonic now. Like everything is like all demonic. Like the people who are singing, and like even like the pop stars are doing like black mass satanic rituals on stage and stuff. Like it's just so weird. Like I don't know if that has to do with like the loosh that's being made, and people are. I think people are so hypnotized they don't even know they're living in fear, and they're living in this weird reality where they're feeding into that loosh for the reptilians allegedly.
Yeah. 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 It is definitely what you're saying it is. And it's very much it's very much a control thing too, right? And
Yeah.
fear keeps people you know, I guess like able to control and manipulate, turn their, I guess, their minds to think any way they want them to.
Yeah, I guess so. Alicia, thank you for that super sticker. That's so sweet of you. We appreciate
But to
that.
be free of that, right? And
Yeah.
to be free of that, and like to not be held back by our own misguided false light preconceived thoughts is another one. Just to accept the moment as it is, and this path that's set before us, and because that's that path that universe has placed before us is meant for us to learn from, to grow from, and to follow that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, that's great. That's great advice. I mean, I try to live in the present moment, and I turn the TV off. I watch a lot of YouTube, but even YouTube's getting, I apologize to everybody that watches my channel too. I was watching one of my shows. Like, I don't like watching my shows, but I go back and watch them, and my goodness, they put so many commercials in there. That's just a side note, y'all. Tonight, it has nothing to do with the show. I'm sorry. But it's just, and the commercials they put on there, like they're kind of, they make me irritated and stuff too. So, and I think that's part of like that loosh. Like there's so many people, there's so many people watching YouTube today and watching internet shows instead of like having cable TV and stuff. And so like they're just infiltrating any way they can get in to keep us like irritable, and even like the frequencies of like the sound that's in our music and all that
Right.
stuff. I don't know if that's reptilian based, but could be,
Oh, it's
and what about,
definitely
yeah, what,
manipulated.
totally. And what about also, Travis, what about the royal family being reptilians? Do you think that's real? Do you think that's the thing?
The royal
The royal
Lizzies.
family, like out of England. Yeah. Well, all over the world. Yeah. Like the royal
Oh,
families, like
definitely
those
hybrid.
bloodlines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a hybrid line in there for sure. It's definitely been a thought that's crossed my mind with that, and yeah, there's definitely ties to a lot of that in numerous ways, and there's a lot of if you want to look for that, right, it's there. But for me, yeah, I definitely some ties to that. They obviously worship a lot of that, and also too a lot of that reptilian ties in the Vatican in itself, right? The whole Vatican itself is shaped like a big snake head, and
It
yeah,
is.
there's a
Yeah.
few things. Yeah, there's a few things in there that are drinking of the blood and eating of the body and stuff like that. They're kind of a little bit on the scale of reptilian side, but it's how people look at it, right? Like I said, it's their way of it's their way of doing things, and like I said, it's very much reptilian vibes that people have just grown I guess blind to, because they've just been brought up that way or have seen things that way all their time.
That's right. Well, it's ingrained. I mean, when it's in our, religious places of worship, I mean, I've seen that there is it's definitely a serpent's head in the Vatican, in that worship hall. Absolutely. It looks like a snake. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in some of those buildings. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't want to get too. I don't want to get political here, but it's true. And W. Becker, thank you so much. He says Travis always radiates such a positive energy and presence. I really appreciate him sharing with us, and always makes me smile. Thank you. He makes me smile too. Okay. Yeah, Travis. Like, I know that we talk about like the stuff that could be so like terrible and stuff, but you know, we're doing this with a smile on our face and trying to not that we're trying to put a spin like a good light on it at all, but it's just putting it out there. And
there's many ways, many teachings
there's many
about
ways
it, right?
to convey the message, right? Yeah, so many. And I mean, if we're not laughing, we're crying. Okay.
Right. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So I came across some stories, okay, of like indigenous stories here from in like the U.S. basically, of like the Sioux Native American tribe, the Aztecs, I believe it's down in Central America, and Hopi. Okay, and in the Sioux Nation, there's a tale of three brothers that turn into rattlesnakes. They lived below ground and they helped their ancestors. Okay. And the Aztecs have something called the McLean, I think, and it's a story about the underworld and the Serpent people. And the Hopi have a story about a young man who ventured to the underworld. He married a snake princess, and they emerged from the inner earth below the Grand Canyon. By the way, and I mean, there's the stories go on, okay? And the Grand Canyon is interesting within itself. Because there's so much, like I've heard for years about the reptilian races and the subterranean, under the underground there, and the ant people. It's not just the reptilians; it's like the ant people too, and we even have ancient Egyptian settlements. There's evidence of the Egyptians living in the Grand Canyon underground as well.
Well, it's like I said, there's a lot of those tales that talk about them going underneath the ground and being into civilizations underneath the earth, of them emerging. Manitau was a great hunter who actually chased some of them into the portal that went back down in the inner earth and had a great fight down there and stuff. It's well known about like the Snake Brothers and different snake warriors that have returned back to the clans and stuff like that from such esoteric blessings and different things. What I'm saying is, like, not all the reptilians are bad, or all the it's just the ones that were kicked out of their dimension that came here, that wanted to infiltrate into the lower realms just so they could infect our dimensional frequency and lower everyone down. That's what I'm saying, is that those ones that want to seep into what's good and destroy it is what we got to be careful of, right? Because it's there. It even tries to get into the minds of man with greed and a simple, like, I want what you have, and or that kind of mentality of we take and we don't give back, to the earth. That whole that mentality that we, like, society has made us all become so a part of, right? Like this constant consumption and no give back, right? No respects, and that's what it was. It was that mentality of like, it's the idea that we are above it all when we have more in common with that dirt on the ground out there. Like when people say that they're the son of God and the daughter of God or whatever, and in reality, in native belief, we don't believe that. We're more connected with everything that, that tree out there, that grass, that that dirt I just said, that rock, like those things are more connected to us. We are more connected to that than we'll ever be with the great creation. Yeah. And so we're more like, it's like we're more on alignment with a lot of the star nations and the star beings, because that's just how it is. It's like, it's not to be looked at it like you're above something or above everything else, like with the world, and that's where a lot of the teaching gets it wrong too.
Yeah. Okay. So we only have a few more minutes tonight, so I'm trying to think of like the key points that I wanted to talk about before we go tonight. Okay. So with the reptilian races of people, like the ones that I looked into when I was remote viewing the Lizard City under Los Angeles. Okay. Dennis Carroll and I had a really interesting conversation about that, because a lot of people say, well, that's kind of the the reasoning for people to say, well, the reptilians are in Los Angeles. We have like actual reptilian humanoids there. Some people say it was just humans that lived underground, okay, to escape the cataclysm of that fire, okay. But
That
they
too.
said that the people that were there, whichever they were, my remote viewing data said they were humanoids and they had an ET background, extraterrestrial, but not extraterrestrials in like from the stars. They were actually from inner Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of ETs and a lot of the things that I'm looking into these days, they have inner Earth, origins, which is really wild because I always thought the ETs came from outer space, Travis. Okay. But they also said, okay, so some of the articles that I read after I had remote viewed that were saying that I forgot the guy's name who found that found the city down there. They were saying that the race was so advanced of these lizard people. They were way smarter. Like a 9-year-old child was as smart, at least as smart or more smart than an adult human was today that had a college education. Now I have a college education. I don't think I'm that smart sometimes. Okay.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah, they were smart. They used natural ocean waterways that like had made a lot of the honeycomb effect. A lot of the ant people had used a lot of that process too, and made a lot of their homes in such places and like caves, caverns in the inner earth. And yeah, they're very smart for doing that. A lot of those places have been destroyed as of recently with all the recent activities and seismic activities and different things around the earth. But yeah, there was a lot of those kingdoms that existed for a long times, like alligator kingdoms and different kind of like prehistoric kingdoms, like those birds. That's how I imagine if they're spotting them, that's probably where they're flying out from, is inner earth, if anything, where those birds came from.
Oh yeah.
Or even, like I said, earth too probably could have like I said, of distant land out there, because our elders always said that Thunderbird would fly to a distant land where it was very unreachable for any human to ever get to, and it would come back whenever it wanted to, like that, and soar across the lands. And so, like these like the dragons and birds would always go to this land, right?
Wow.
Could be a big, big oasis out there.
Okay, wow. CS, thank you for that super chat, man. You guys have been so generous tonight. Thank you to everybody in the chat tonight for all of your donations and for all the support. Travis, everybody, you, like I said, you're a fan favorite here at Spaced Out Radio for sure, and we appreciate that.
I'm just happy I can come back and talk.
Matter of fact, Dogface says Travis is my favorite SMR guest in the history of history. Never miss it.
That's excellent. I appreciate that so much. I'm happy I can come on here and talk and share some of these, teachings and stories from the past, and talk a little bit of insight into it. And yeah, the horned serpent is a very much a rock carving that our Cree people have done in the lower areas of Canmore, just along the river there. And that like I said, it's a very much all these dragons and serpents are very much old guardians from the ancient time, like the pretty much like the spirit of earth in the crystals, and amongst the other spirits that chose to give themselves up and make it as well, right? And it's a lot we went over in the 1 hour. I'm happy that I got to come on and share it, and thank you so much, Jessica.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got a couple minutes left. What would be your advice if anyone that is watching tonight or listening over a podcast, wherever they're hearing this, what is any advice you'd give somebody if they were to encounter what they believe to be was a reptilian? Should they be scared?
No, don't allow the fear in. And also too, there's a lot of tales of them. They're able to hypnotize people and make them fall in love with them, and though people have no control over it. You know what I mean? So that's another thing, like eye contact and things like that are very powerful things that could petrify or hypnotize somebody to that sense.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the same with a lot of cryptids that I study. A lot of them have that telepathic ability to really hypnotize people. And so you guys watch out. Y'all watch for those pupils to go slitty. Okay. Slitty for sure, right? Slitty is all litty when the eyes go slitty. Oh my God, that's a great saying. We should make some t-shirts or something. Okay. But okay, Travis, this has been amazing. What a great show tonight. Thank you so much for coming on here with me. And where can people find you? I know that my audience would love to I know you have artwork that you make, and do you have a website or Facebook page where people could follow you?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page. I have Travis Willier, actor, writer, painter. That's where you can find a lot of different sketches and paintings that I've put up. I also have a UFO, Four Directions UFO Society on Facebook as well. And then on YouTube, I have Blue Lightning Cards readings. It's where I do readings with tarot cards and stuff, and I talk on some of these subjects. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now with this all. So
Sweet. Blue Lightning Oracle cards. I love your videos for that too. I too read Oracle cards. I haven't done it in a while, but
yes,
it's my favorite. So I
I'll
love
get
that. I
back
can
into it.
appreciate that. Yeah. Well, Travis, will you promise me you'll come back and hang out with us again soon? And
I'd love to. I'd love
okay.
to.
All right.
Alrighty,
Anytime
thank
you
you so
see
much.
me, yeah, anytime you see me hitting on some kind of crazy topic and you got some info, just holler at me and we'll do a show. Okay, for sure. And yeah, thank you so much. You're
Thank
amazing.
you.
Okay, awesome, Travis. Well, listen, have a great night. I will see you next time on Space Out Radio. Okay, thanks, Travis.
See y'all.
Okay, see ya. All right, y'all. That was amazing. Thank you guys so much. Oh, let me take these comments down. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for all the love and support tonight. All the donations, all the super chats, and the super stickers. It means the world to me and to everybody here at Space Out Radio. Yeah, don't forget that right after this show, Rob has a great show set up for us over After Hours. So let's go over there. Y'all come hang out in the chat tonight. And tomorrow night, I have my friend Barry Littleton coming on. We're gonna have Barry on, and I'm not exactly sure. We have so many topics to cover tomorrow. I'm not gonna put my finger on one, okay? But yeah, Barry's and I always have a lot to talk about. So you guys, please come hang out with us tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Also, please check out my channel, The Cryptid Huntress. I've had some what we call bangers lately on my channel. And yeah, we've been having a great time over there. So you guys go over there, subscribe, like, share out my videos over there and here at Space Out Radio. Be sure to join the Space Travelers Club on Patreon with Spaced Out Radio. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow night. Y'all have a great night. Stay safe out there and watch for those slitty eyes. When they get slitty, it's getting litty. Good night.